Hey everybody, before we begin this video, remember, please share it on social media, share it with your friends, text them, tell them to watch the video. We are criminally intercepted, we need some help and support. But let's move on with the video now. Alright, if you've been under a rock or if you've just been avoiding Twitter and the YouTubes and for some reason you were luckily notified of this video posting, maybe you're unaware, but the motion to dismiss the appeals by Sean Lamois, my Fiora, have that's been thrown out. The appeals are going to move forward. Now, to my understanding, this does not mean that every single action has been successfully appealed. It just means that the appeals are going through to the appellate court. The motion to have those thrown out is gone, which is good news. It's minor good news, I have to say, because at the end of the day, it still has to go to the appellate court. They still have to go over everything they're appealing, and I would imagine that probably takes some months to actually happen. This just means that they haven't been blocked from doing that. However, that would kind of be it. That would kind of be the video. But I waited a couple days because I already saw some people just acting absolutely stupid about it. And I am on, just saying, @DeludedDragon's Twitter feed, because I'm blocked by most of these people, but he's been clipping the things that they've been saying. And you can see our favorite shoeless predator running a creeper con, Shameless. So Vic doesn't refile his appeal, it was all dropped. Seems unfair to be out $250,000, no career, lose most cons, and be known in publications worldwide as a predator for a drop. I didn't make the rules, but if you insist, that's how the game is played. It's funny, right? Because in spite of everything that he just put out into a tweet, if Vic goes to a convention, his lines are massive, and if the defendants go to a convention, they get like this many people. So, personally, I would say this. If it goes, I mean, the thing is, $250,000, there's the GoFundMe money, so I don't think Vic is actually facing much of a personal penalty. If he didn't fight it, then he would be known as a predator worldwide. Instead, you have people repeating it, and you have way more people refuting it now. But you can kind of see where you're at, right? And then, of course, everyone's favorite child enthusiast, who says it's okay that she was making out with teenage girls as young as, I believe, 14, because, well, they were teenagers and they wanted it. I believe that was the Greg Doucette defense. Great, so we'll be upping that $250,000 to a cool $500,000 with 0 to 34 record. It's a record that would have the Lions and Bengals feeling good after their goose egg seasons. You know, it's funny. I don't believe she's actually involved in the lawsuit. I think instead she actually provided false testimony, but let's just move past that. Here we go. The woman who started it all, Kaylin Saucedo. Where is she now? I guess she's back on Twitter. Why are you folks acting like we didn't know appeals would be coming? Now a different judge is going to look at it and dismiss it, and Vic is going to owe even more money than he does already. Well, I don't think it's the fact that you didn't know the appeals were coming. I think it was everybody going on Twitter saying Kybeard was incompetent, he didn't know what he was doing, this was all going to be thrown out, he's just costing his client more money, yada 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 yada. And then the motion to dismiss said appeals got denied, and immediately we just started spinning in the other direction. Oh, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Oh, but you can tell how freely the salt is flowing. Glad it's not over. Now more judges can tell you all that nothing is there. Okay. There's a difference between lying and being wrong about what's going to happen. Doucette admitted he was wrong, but also had laid out what was going to happen if appeals did in fact go through, which, go figure, you completely don't show here. Love all the ableism, by the way. So here's the thing, right? This person provided a tweet from Greg Doucette in which he was gloating, and I mean, I can kind of tell by the little hand clappies there that he really felt he was making a good point. But apparently he is admitted to being wrong. I can't see that he's admitted to being wrong because Greg Doucette's running blockchains now. But I don't see her providing proof that Doucette admitted that he was wrong and also laid out what was going to happen. I just see her saying it. So I guess, what was it? Which you didn't show here. So I would imagine that if you're going to say someone didn't show something, you would show it just to prove them wrong. But apparently I'm thinking it's too much. And then everybody's favorite, Jamie Markey. He sued me for saying he pulled my hair. Completely factually incorrect. He then admitted he pulled my hair. Also factually incorrect. He said he touched women without their consent. See, here's the thing. If you're saying he put his hands onto someone's shoulder without their consent, or hugged them without their consent, that's very different from trying to say he was touching women without their consent. But Jamie Markey's a dishonest scumbag and piece of shit, and you can kind of tell just by the first couple sentences there that she's completely dishonest. But it's not like that's a huge surprise for anyone, really. Oh, man. He said he cheated on his fiancée. He said he hired sex workers. I think you're gross for continuing to defend a person like that. And, you know, I will say this. Yeah, it's wrong to cheat on your fiancée, and I believe he did admit to hiring a prostitute, which is also wrong. It just doesn't make him a child enthusiast. It doesn't make him someone who is touching without... Apparently, he was paying for women. In spite of the fact that apparently he had the ability to just show up at conventions and drag little girls into his room and do whatever he wanted with them, according to his friends like Jamie Markey here, who apparently says that she was aware of all this stuff for years and just was okay with it. According to her. See, I don't think that actually happened, but according to her, she was fully aware that she was working with someone who was all the things that she claims him to be for years, and just decided not to say anything about it because she stands for women. But again, like I said, these last two things, yeah, they're bad, they're wrong, but they are a far cry away from touching people without their consent, and I believe everybody understands what it means when you say that an adult male is touching women without their consent. He is not admitting to sexual misconduct. He said that he was hugging people and should get their consent before hugging them, which is fucking stupid because Jamie Markey apparently lives in this little tiny American bubble, because if you go literally anywhere else in the world, or if you have family that originates from anywhere else in the world, Mignogna is Italian. Italians are far more affectionate. I said this in another video, there are many cultures in which men kiss each other as a form of greeting, because other places are just far more open and affectionate than they are in the United States. And Italian culture is the same way. So, but it's not like they give a shit, right? It's not like they care about any of that. Instead, she's just going to lie and demean somebody because, well, it's coming. This person is going to post a full video of the deposition for context. I highly recommend watching for a character study if you can stomach it. The trolls are in full... I mean... the whole depositions are up on Nick Recada's channel. He went through the entire thing. So, the thing that I need to state there is that apparently all of us are being brainwashed by Nick or something, or we don't actually listen to the depositions, but I believe that they're like, 2 hours long a piece for every single person, and watch all of the depositions because Mignogna comes across looking good, whereas Ron Toy looks really dishonest. I do not recall. I do not recall the substance of my conversations. I just recall that we talked about Vic Mignogna. I don't recall if they were negative. No. Yeah. Being honest, have you ever stated to anyone in the last 10 years that you hired prostitutes or escorts? I have. Again, it's wrong. It's just not RAPE. It's just not child enthusiasm. And if you want to shame him for hiring a prostitute, well then go ahead and do it. I think it's more than fair to criticize him for doing something like that. And I'm just going to say that outright. You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't have done it. I think that's more than fair to say. But I also think that this fucking degenerate over here understands it's not something most people will defend, and then later ties it into he is also touching women without their consent. See, here's what I love, right? Gross dude, I get this shit gets you off, which is why you have so many accounts focused on my vagina, but shit get you to a therapist. On a scale of 1 to 10, how sticky are your hands right now? You touch yourself while you message me, don't you? Damn. Okay, so she's really gross. Like, really, really gross. But here's my point. He sued me for saying he pulled my hair. Completely incorrect. He then admitted he pulled my hair. Also incorrect. He said he touched women without their consent. He said he cheated on... See, here's the thing. You have multiple lies buried in with phrasing or framing devices, and then the truth, right? The truth's at the very bottom. He sued me for saying he pulled my hair. He didn't, though. He sued you for several of the things that you were saying about him over social media. He then admitted he pulled my hair. No, he was asked if he pulled her hair. He had said yes to a different question and then immediately clarified and said, no, I ran my fingers through her hair because she had just changed her hair. I see men do that all the time. I see women do it all the time. But I think it's also important to note that this apparently took place 8 years ago, and apparently someone yanking her hair, which is what she says. She says he yanked her hair. That was so threatening to her that for 8 years she kept her mouth shut about it. And also knew all this other stuff about him and didn't say anything because she was protecting women. Yeah, that makes sense. If you were dropped on your head repeatedly as a child. And then, like I said, he said he touched women without their consent. He said that at conventions, he should get consent before he hugs fans and kisses them on the forehead. I mean, I'm sorry, I've been to conventions. Fans can be overly affectionate, too. I just... It's funny. No, it really is, right? Because she's openly lying while at the same time she throws in only 2 things that are factually correct. He said he touched women without their consent. I mean, you can argue that what she's saying is technically true. It's just the framing with everything else that's going on, you can see what she's trying to get across. So if you argue with her, then she can turn around and say, well, no, what I said, I didn't lie. But he did lie about the first 2 things. And then he said he cheated on his fiance. That's bad. It's just not sexual misconduct. He said he hired sex workers. Yeah, that's bad. It's just not, you know, RAPEing somebody. It's not forcing yourself onto somebody, and it's certainly not being a child enthusiast. But again, I thought this was funny. Remember. The appeals were supposed to be dismissed. They weren't. Now it's okay because now they're going to get even more money, guys. And because they're going to get even more money, because it's all going to be thrown out, they're just going crazy on Twitter because, oh man. Hey, I don't know what's going to happen. The truth is that they could hit the appellate court and every single appeal can be denied, right? It sucks. It's unfortunate. That could obviously happen. But if you are so certain that it is going to occur, just like you were so certain that the appeals would be dismissed because Ty is incompetent and everyone's just getting to see through exactly what this is about, well, I think that having some perspective that you can be wrong might be a good idea. Or not. Just keep reading on Twitter. Maybe that will make things better. All right, guys, that's the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.